Welcome back to Unranked Podcast. This is Elijah here alongside Grant. We have another episode here. We're going to dive in deep to, a little NBA as that approaches us. We're going to do our, top five, both East and West, who we think as far as MVP, Defensive Player of the Year for each of us. And then touch on the Pistons a little later on as far as what we think they can do approaching the season. I'm just going to kick it off you here, Grant.
Yeah.
First and foremost, so you took the West as far as that your top 8 goes here. So who you thinking top down?
Okay. All right. So this was kind of tough. I'll start off with first. First one I got the Jazz, and I feel like they had a pretty good season last year. I mean, the way they kind of play. I know they kind of got knocked out in the first, second round by the Clippers. They always kind of don't do the greatest in the playoffs, but I feel like they're a great regular season team, and they're probably one of the teams that got better and kind of kept able to keep everybody around this past offseason. So I got them at first. I got the Lakers right behind them. The only reason I wanted to have the Lakers first, but the only reason why I didn't have them first is because their whole team is completely different from what it was last year. So there's going to be some chemistry, issues to kind of start off there. Got the Suns right behind them. I think it'll be interesting to see, if they're able to kind of repeat what they did last year. I assume they should be able to, keep that same energy, that same momentum. They pretty much got everybody back as well. This one kind of gets tough for me personally, like 5 to 8, just because, 4 to 8. Because a lot of these teams are, always kind of like one piece away or, dealing with some injury issues, things along those lines. So I actually have the Clippers coming in next. I feel like, Paul George, he's kind of able to do his thing. I mean, it's going to be – unfortunately, they don't really have Kawhi for most of the season, but, he's always kind of taking games off here and there. I feel like they are able to keep a decent core together to at least kind of be in that mix. I always feel like the West is very competitive from four down. So
a
lot of these teams are not really far off from each other. Right behind them, I got the Nuggets. They don't have Jamal Murray, but they're playing great basketball without him all last year. I think they lost him pretty late in the season last year as well. I think February, March. So he's probably not really going to be available until maybe March, April of this year. But I still think, just Jokic being at the helm, he'll definitely be helpful in keeping them afloat. Got the Warriors coming next. I feel like they could be one of them teams where it kind of depends on, how Klay comes back. Because they got a lot better, I feel, just from a roster, just some of the players they brought back in. They got Iggy back. They might be getting Klay back December, January. I think Jordan Poole's going to take that next step. I think they might end up even starting him some games to start the season off because he's been playing really well. Wiseman going to be back healthy. Draymond going to do his thing. We always know he's going to bring to the table, and obviously you don't need to bring up Steph. Steph's going to be there. So they could easily mess around and be the second, third best team when it's all said and done, once the playoffs come around. I also have the Blazers in the mix. They got Dame, they got CJ. We'll kind of see how things unfold with Dame. I mean, as of right now, he'll probably be there for at least another year, but that could change. I also have the Mavs right around there as well. So, like I said, that 4 through 7 range is really tough. It was pretty tough for me. And then kind of rounding it out for me was Memphis.
Okay.
So I think they're going to take that next step as well. Just, they're able to kind of get to that play-in, beat a couple teams. And then, beat a couple teams in that play-in tourney. Gave the Jazz a run for their money, for sure. Ended up losing in 5. But I think Ja Morant, I think this is really going to be his coming-out party this year for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of things you said. Now, one thing I would ask you started with the Jazz.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you that they'll be definitely top of that pack. Do you think they could take the next step in the playoffs and put together something, go on a run of their own? Or do you think they'll just, pad the win stat again regular season?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of struck me as a really good regular season team. I just think, they want to shoot a lot of threes. Donovan Mitchell just kind of he's a volume shooter. Just, they don't – the way they play basketball, they're hot one night, they're hot for a few nights in a row, and then they're off. So, like, I guess kind of answer your question, I feel like they might maybe take the next step. I just feel like once they get to the playoffs, Rudy Gobert starts to get exposed, and that ends up being their kryptonite. And that's what's kind of been really the end of it for them every year. I mean, I can go ahead and say this. I know he's an all-star player. I know he's a two-time defensive player of the year, but I don't – like, he doesn't really do them a lot of favors when the games get closer, get tighter in the second round of the playoffs. So I kind of see them doing a little bit of the same thing. And like I said, it could easily be – I feel like LeBron and them will definitely figure it out to where, I think they could definitely be the team to be in the Western Conference.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I just asked that because they're an interesting squad to me because I do easily can see them racking up 60 wins and then being a first round, second round exit. And so I do agree. I mean, they're one of the teams that I think if they get extremely hot, that's their one chance. They need Joe Ingles knocking threes. They need Donovan Mitchell hitting threes. They need, a bunch of things to happen at once. So, I agree with you on that. I'm going to start off with my top 8 as well as in the East, here.
Yep.
And I'm going to go, regardless of the issues they currently have, I could see them. I kind of think KD and James Harden are going to come out this year and be full throttle, ready to go. And so I got them starting out winning the most games in the East, taking the East this year. I think that's regardless of what happens with Kyrie. Obviously, if he's on the team, that's very if he did it, that is, if he's with the squad, then clearly that's a plus and a positive. But if he's not, I still think those two are dynamic enough and can make it work and get that done.
Yeah.
Second, I'm going Milwaukee Bucks, reigning champs here. I think clearly they're a great squad with with Giannis coming back with a championship, 50-piece to top that off. I think they're going to be a great team this year as well. I just kind of maybe see them falling short, maybe a little lackadaisical as they start the season, coming off the being champs here or something. I think throughout the year they're going to mess around and lose a little more games.
Yeah.
Another team that has a little bit of turmoil similar to the Nets, and that's with the 76ers. I see them finishing third. That's with or without Ben Simmons, really. I think with Ben Simmons, clearly they're a better team, but without, I think they're going to have – that means they're going to be getting multiple players or another all-star type player back. So I think they're going to be reloaded. Embiid is a complete beast in the post, in offensively period, defensively period. So I think he's a force to be reckoned with. Just him on a team alone with not a lot of help is going to be a playoff team. So I think with who they have, they're going to finish around third. Next, I have the Hawks finishing fourth. I think Trae Young, kind of similar to like you said with Ja Morant, just taking that next logical step. Continue to put his team on his back. They went on a pretty good run last year. They're very young. They seem to have found the right coach. They're coached very well, and they just are a good, young, fun team to watch. So I could definitely see them having some struggles, but I ultimately could see them finishing somewhere in the middle of the pack, fourth, fifth seed in the East.
Yeah.
Bulls, they reloaded. I'm kind of buying into maybe a little bit of the hype that everybody's selling with them, but I think they have a lot of young pieces that they kind of put together this summer. Lonzo, Lonzo being ringleader of that, and so they're an interesting squad. So I definitely think they're going to be in the mix. And then just kind of rattled off here, I have the Heat, Pacers, and followed by the Hornets.
Okay.
And even though you just told me earlier they were getting blown out by like 50 points the preseason here, I think Ball's going to take his next logical step as well and kind of and show you really what he's made of and kind of take another step forward as far as offensive growth, maybe even defensively as well. And that team is good. They have Bridges with the Flintstone. And I just think, they have a lot of good pieces to make them also a fun team to watch. And they'll kind of slide in there maybe in the eighth.
We got that guy, Book Knight. I saw a couple highlights. I know it's preseason. I saw a couple highlights of him. Man, I think he put like a good 20. Came through the paint, dunked on somebody, got a jumper already. So I like them too. Did you say the Knicks?
I I'm tripping. I did it on the fly here.
I mean, no,
yeah, you would have to.
It's like that's a tough conference because Knicks, Celtics, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, that is.
I threw Indian at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's definitely a major point there. But no, so I threw Indiana in at the end. That was when I left my paperwork at home. But you never know. I clearly Julius Randle is probably going to slide them into the playoffs. They have a lot of D-Rose. They have a lot of pieces there too. So yeah, no, definitely they're probably.
They got a solid squad too, though.
Got overlooked. Yeah.
Indiana. I mean, they having like Brogdon, Sabonis, Miles Turner. I mean, like I said, that conference gonna get real. It's gonna get real. I mean, both of them at the, like I said, when it comes from like the fourth and down, there's like 3 or 4 teams in that realm where it's kind of like a toss up. Now, do you think another question for you? You think the Nets will like recognize how important it is to be a 1 seed this year? Because last year I believe they were the 2 seed, and they ended up having to see the Bucks in the second round instead of maybe seeing Atlanta in the second round. I know Atlanta beat Philly, but I feel like the Nets would have been able to handle Atlanta a little better than I don't think would have had an answer for KD to where, Yeah. No, so what do you think about that?
I do. I think they. I do think that's that. And then just another year, I think KD. He was kind of on the minutes restriction at the beginning of the year, and they were doing the music.
Harden was on one leg.
Harden was on one leg, and at the beginning of the year, Harden wasn't even on the team for
first like 20 games.
Yeah. So then they had to make that work all of a sudden, new dynamic. So I just think they're gonna. I think he's also gonna come out with fire in his heart because he hit one of the more incredible playoff shots that's just not even counted. Because they didn't end up winning the series, so I just kind of think that, and he, I think he just went all out in the playoffs. He was playing so many minutes, and he kind of just maybe can shake it all off and just kind of, go full throttle maybe for a full season. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that's one thing that I just kind of stuck out to me. But I mean, I think all 3 only even played together last year, like 11, 12 games. Mm-hmm. Only 2 of them played together, maybe like 25 games. And then, I mean, it was literally a point in time where it was like one at a time, like was just kind of taking a shift and just kind of like carrying the team, which is crazy. I mean, I think, KD, I think he finally got his legs back under him, that I think the Achilles is definitely, I think, in the past now. You know what I'm saying? Right. Where, like, last year, he had some of the other leg injuries and stuff, so we're like, all right, we got to just take it easy with him. So yeah. But no, all in all, I mean, I think, both sides of the house, like, it's both conferences. Like,
you're going to call me out on the Knicks. I can't believe I did that, but I did it in, like, a 2-minute thing. Right there. Yeah, no, it is. Because I didn't even, like, I thought thoroughly about it. But, But, yeah, yeah.
The Celtics, I mean, they've been in the playoffs the last like 4, 5, 6 years, and I can't see them. I mean, how tough that conference is now. I mean, I feel like the only team that just didn't really get that much better.
Yeah, so, that's true.
So yeah,
good deal. Yeah, no, but, and I think next we're going to go off to MVP. Name 2 players that we think could possibly win it this year.
Yeah.
And, so I want you to try to start out first.
Okay.
And let me guess, LeBron James? No.
No, I think, all right, I told you before we hopped on here, here's a participation trophy. He already got 4, so I think he's kind of off that list, for the rest of his career. But, no, the 2 I had was I think either Giannis or Luka. I think Giannis is in a situation where, like, they just got so much momentum. Mm-hmm. They just had this crazy run where I feel like nobody thought they was going to be able to do it. And, like, Giannis' confidence, I mean, I think he got to be top of the mountain right now. I'll tell you this. I think the most humble flex I've ever seen in my life is this man walking around Greece with his finals MVP trophy. Just, like, in his home country, you know what I'm saying? Just, like, I just feel like he's definitely aware of what he did. But
he can hit his stride. And
he's only 26, so it's like I just feel like that next step is like he can mess around like 33.
And certain people, once they get a taste of it, they want more.
Right.
And other people, when they get a taste, they're complacent. And
Right.
so I think we'll begin to see whether he wants it twice as
Yep.
bad now or
Yep.
yeah. So
And then Luka, I mean, I feel like it'd just be his turn. You know what I mean? Like, I think they'd have to be like I don't love his team, but I feel like if he were to find a way to average like 32, 8-8, and they're like a 3 or 4 seed, you know, they're not going to give it to nobody in Utah. They're not going to give it to, you know, LeBron again. They're not going to give it to, like, I don't know. I mean, Steph could go ballistic, and they could be a lot better than everybody expects, and he could, you know, end up, you know, kind of be in that mix. But it feels like Luka's turn,
yeah.
I guess, is, you know, for me. So yeah. Who do you think?
Yeah, no. So I'm going to second your Luka. He's on my list.
Yeah.
I second, like, he's probably one of my favorite young players, to be honest. I love watching his game. He's just good. Like, it's kind of odd to explain. You know, I'm not exactly sure how it's working, but he just gets shit done. So, yeah. So I definitely second that. Like you said, and he can easily average those type of stats. I mean, he's up around the upper 20s now, in, you know, 8 or 9 rebounds, 8 or 9 assists every night. So, you know, I could see him creeping into the 30s and averaging somewhere shy or around a triple-double.
Yeah.
And those type of numbers, you're going to eventually win one. And they probably, truthfully told, want to give him one. So I think that's going to play into a factor as well. And then I have kind of similar – I don't know. I just kind of have KD. And similar to him just going all out this year. I kind of see that being a thing. Him wanting to win that championship. Him seeing maybe his windows getting a little closer, a little more close.
Yeah.
And seeing, you know, just the writing on the wall. If I can't control people who I thought was on my team here, and they're doing AWOL shit, and one time I almost had one and I blew my Achilles in the championship, and, you know, the time is now, maybe. You know, I could see him just going all out for the year. Also averaging somewhere in the low 30s, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, somewhere in that ballpark, or 7 rebounds, 6 assists, somewhere in there, and just you know, kind of taking command of that offense, and, you know, putting the team on his back for the year. So that's my two.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. If these dudes could play games, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I needed probably about 65 games that are Harden and KD minimum.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like just kind of set it up to where that can happen. And, like, yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously we know what they would be if they had Kyrie and it was all healthy. They definitely could be something crazy too with just Harden and KD as well. But I agree. I feel like, you know, if he can, you know, just I think he's back. I think, like, KD is, like, back. Like, I feel like he kind of hit that stride, like, mid Boston Celtics series. You know what I'm saying? Like, was really, like, getting his legs back, and then carried over into that next series. Harden on one leg, so obviously didn't work out. But then through the playoffs, or not the playoffs, the Olympics. So now you really got, like, you know, gold medal. I mean, he's been seeing the ball go in the basket. Like, he's, you know, I just felt the confidence is there for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. Next one we're gonna do is defensive player of the year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yep. So you can go ahead and take this one first.
Yeah. So defensive player of the year, I'm going. My first pick here would be Ben Simmons. I think, you know, with all the pressure and all the getting dragged through the mud throughout the summer and the playoffs and wanting to get traded, I think he'll probably know one damn thing, that he can play some defense. And I think he'll probably go out there and do it this year and really go try to get one. And try to – I think he'll also probably step up offensively this year as well. But I think he knows that's something he can do, and you can't take that away from him. And if he goes out there every night and plays defense 125%, it doesn't matter if he scored 6 points a game. So, and I fully anticipate that happening. So that's my first pick.
Okay.
Second one.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead with that one. No. I was gonna say like I almost picked him too, but like, I mean, a week ago we didn't know if he was gonna be here till November, December, and then that you know, he started seeing them fines coming in. He was like, all right, I'm gonna show up, but it'll still. I'm just curious to see if he's gonna pull like a Jimmy Butler and just spaz and just be like such a cancer to the team where they're like, you know what, just like go home and then we'll trade you and then like that's it. Or like, cause I know he showed to the facility and everything, but it's hard for me to see him showing up like, or like, you know, being who he wants to be and like actually like trying to play hard for that team,
Yeah,
But
no,
if you trade him like a
definitely
week
see
to
him
the
try to
season,
force his hand to get out of there.
yeah. But if you trade him like halfway through the season, he'll be all rejuvenated and like ready to get after it. He got moved to like Portland or the Warriors or something like that, and yeah, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah. No. And next one, this is when I still had three. I didn't delete the other two, but I'll go with old vet, and that's just Draymond.
Oh yeah,
I think he's going to be in the top 5 every year because that's just how good a defensive player he is. Whether he's the main defender, help side defense, they're always putting the mic on him, and you hear him yelling out sets and different situations to his communicating with his teammates, and I think those are the things that go unsaid, that he helps other players around him become better defensive players and push them. So, and really this sets the tone for that squad. And that's something you can't minimize, that he is the real backbone of that squad and has been for 10 years. So, and I kind of think he can go out there this year and just kind of lay the law down. They'll have, like you said earlier when you brought up your top 8, that they're going to be kind of rejuvenated, have a bunch of people back that haven't maybe seen in a few seasons, some young players that they got their hands on, and yeah, I can easily see that them just doing good and him kind of leading the way defensively like he always does.
Yeah, I think he. I'll just say this: what we don't need is Rudy Gobert to steal another Defensive Player of the Year award. That's what we don't need to happen. I'm so tired of him winning Defensive Player of the Year. They talk about how his plus minus is like the best in the NBA, but as soon as the playoffs start, you put him in pick and roll, and all he do is foul out 3 minutes foul out or get 2-3 fouls in the first quarter. Like, so I agree on Draymond. I feel like it's gonna be like it's supposed to be like a Klay Thompson. Like he just gonna rejuvenate that whole squad. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like people will see him back out there, and I think it's just gonna lift everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like I really do think they can be anywhere from like the 7 seed to like the 3 seed. Like, if Klay come back and is able to shoot it how he used to shoot it. I mean, they got Steph, obviously. Finally have like a solid big man in Wiseman. I mean, I know they had JaVale McGee and other guys in the past, but I agree. My guy, one of my picks was Draymond because I do feel like they're gonna be super motivated because I feel like they got some more left in the tank too. They think they got another championship running them as well, at least over the next few years. So my second one is Jrue Holiday. So this is I think everybody knows how good of a defender he is. Like he put the clamps on Dame in the playoffs a few years back. They swept them 4-0. Him and AD did them crazy. And then, I feel like even in the finals, like that, how he played Devin Booker and then how he made that play to go down and throw that lob to Giannis just ultimately like seal that game, game 5, I think it was. I feel like, when it was back in Phoenix. Yeah, I feel like after winning that championship, the Bucks, I think they're going to be in the echelon. We're going to see them on TV once a week now. You know what I mean? I think they're going to really be in that spotlight to where we're going to see a lot more of Jrue Holiday. And I feel like I personally think they might end up getting the 1 seed over the Bucks or the Nets, just because they got their 3 and like all they did was get better. So I feel like if they're in that realm of like 57, 58 games, grab that 1 seed, he might be able to steal that Defensive Player of the Year award too.
Yeah. Easy to see that. You're making a good point with them getting more airtime, just in general. After you win a championship, you're going to be on a lot of those primetime games throughout the year. So definitely you become more of a household name in general.
Yep.
And then I'm just going to go out here and throw it out there. My other one, and you'll probably like this, is Anthony Davis. I think maybe they're going to need multiple players to step up in different roles in order for the whole thing to work. And I think his role that he could easily step up in is just being that much more of a dominant defender.
Yeah.
And if he just makes his mind up that that's what he will do for sure, I think that team will be that much better and that he could easily go win him a Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. It'll be only reason why I didn't pick him was because I just kind of see them. I know Melo's starting right now, at least in preseason, but it's just preseason, obviously. For some reason, I see Melo kind of coming off the bench later on in the year, and then them putting AD at the 4, and then having Dwight Howard at the 5. I don't know. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong, but I almost feel like they got like DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard, just to almost be those rim protectors. So he can just worry about being like a scorer. I mean, he can still do his thing on defense. You know what I mean? I still feel like he's gonna be that presence. It'll be interesting how that kind of works out because they got, those guys are strictly just like rebounders, just defenders, like rim protector type guys. And I think they're trying to kind of do something to where they want to protect AD's body almost. You know what I'm saying? To make it to where like he not,
like more of the finesse.
He can't stay off the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think he can do what he wants to be. He wants to be handling the ball. He wants to be taking jump shots, shooting threes, like, to where I would love for him to be, like getting down there. That's when he's really unstoppable, is when he's like being aggressive in the paint on both sides of the ball. So, but we'll see though. I mean, he always up there, second and third in the league in blocks and steals. So I think he'll be a lot more rejuvenated too, because he did catch a lot of criticism last year from this not being able to stay healthy.
Agreed. So next line, just top off the player awards as far as NBA goes. We have 6th man of the year. So who do you have for that one?
6th man of the year. The first one I have is it'll kind of depend on what happens with Clay, but I think Jordan Poole will end up being 6th man of the year. I think I just love what I was seeing from him last year. I think he was over in the G League bubble, and then they brought him over when people started getting hurt, or brought him back up. And I mean, he struggled like as a rookie, as a lot of rookies do. He didn't really shoot. He didn't shoot nowhere near as good as he did when he was at Michigan in his first year. But he's gotten stronger. I mean, he's playing with some of the best shooters in the world. So like, I think he definitely can be like a 15 to 17 game guy off the bench. He'll hit a team with a 30, on random Tuesday night a couple times to see, you know what I mean? I think he can definitely, if they end up being pretty good too, I think he can definitely sneak in there and grab that. And then my second one was Jordan Clarkson. I mean, I think he's like, he just has the green light. Like they literally tell him like, you get the ball, like you don't really like do what you do. And he'll dribble the clock down, play iso ball. Yeah, and be out there just, we've seen him give 40 many times off the bench. So yeah.
Mine first one here is Derek. We share Jordan Clarkson, and I second everything you said. He's just I always do kind of like the guys that can just don't mind coming off the bench and cooking for 20. They just don't mind like that.
They are Nick Young, Lou Will.
That's yeah. And there's always something special about those guys that just I'll come off the bench and drop 20 on you. That don't matter, and they easily could be on a real shitty team and drop 28 a game and win 10 games, but they don't want to do that. So I agree with you on that. And my other one would be Derrick Rose. I know we both love Derrick Rose, have for many years here, and I can kind of see him getting stepping into that role. They have Kemba Walker now. I know I let them off the playoff list here, but I could easily see them being in that hunt with all the weapons that they do have, and Derrick Rose coming off the bench and just kind of orchestrating that second unit, and also kind of like you said, having a green light. Thibodeau and him have like a good bond there. They understand each other, and I think he just kind of he trusts him, and they trust each other. And I would say that he knows exactly the roles to put him in, and also Derrick Rose knows how to evolve and play in many different circumstances. So, and I would love to see him just kind of get more hardware. He's kind of everybody knows that what he's been through. So just to get another piece of hardware would be that much more special. So,
when did he have his first ACL injury? When he was like 25, 26?
Maybe even possibly younger than that, but like 2011.
He won his first MVP when we was 09, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's been.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be a good little. It'll be interesting. What'd you say?
No, I'm listening.
because he showed up when he showed up in the playoffs for him for sure, like big time for the Knicks when Randall was kind of struggling.
He tore his ACL. His first injury was in 2012. So now just looking up his first injury here. Yeah.
Damn. Man,
he won MVP. He won MVP in 2011.
Yeah, I'm putting him 1B because I wanted to get one now too because missed out on so much, man.
Yeah. No, we could do a whole episode on if he wouldn't have got hurt. Just what the battles between him and LeBron, the fucking, how much better the Bulls team would have been. There's a lot of, we missed out on a lot of good basketball.
Yeah, because I think they would have got, if they would have got another piece when they were playing Miami, like those, they might have messed around and got past them one year.
Yeah, real talk, they was going 6-7 games with Joakim Noah.
And like Nate Robinson starting at the one. Yeah. So yeah. Bro, that's what just a real-time role player pro. Yeah. He played a solid 14 years. Hey, it was the most average NBA player, that's crazy. Just a great role player, yeah. Okay. Sure. Most improved next? Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go I'm going Lonzo. I think Lonzo gonna mess around and average double-double this year. Where that team is built, you got DeRozan, Levine, Caruso. Guys, they're gonna just run the floor.
Yeah.
And
which
lobs to each other.
That's prime to Lonzo's game.
Yep.
Speed, running the floor.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. I think they're gonna be pretty solid. I do think they're gonna be pretty solid.
Yep.
Yeah, no, and I didn't actually write down the most improved, but I kind of think a couple players I would agree with you on that. I think he's been one of those players that he's never been bad, but he's been kind of beat up by the media. He didn't live up to what he's supposed to be, so because of that he's not good, which isn't true. And he's a very solid player, so I kind of easily could see him falling into a good situation there where they're kind of gassing him up to run his type of offense. And you brought up Jordan Poole earlier. I think he could easily be in that mix as well. I think he's been getting groomed for many years there. I think he was a second round pick or a late first round pick.
30 or something like that.
Left Michigan probably season too early in my personal opinion. No, it's fine. Probably but he so he's one of those players that I think he's still pretty young, but he's also been through the mix for a while. He's been, like you said, G League. He's been on the bench when they had everybody. He's been one of the key guys on the team, so he's had a lot of roles in a very short amount of time there. And he can get hot real quick, just like he always did in Michigan. He's a streaky hot guy where he can hit 2, 3, 4 threes in, a quick window, and you don't even realize until you look up. So any guy that has that type of firepower and's given an opportunity to jack up many shots, or definitely could put up the numbers. So
yeah, another guy I was going to throw in that mix, and it was close. I feel like he's in this situation. It would be most improved because he hasn't made an All-Star team quite yet. But Ja, I feel like what happened for Julius Randle, it was his first time as an All-Star, and then he ended up getting the most improved player. So I feel like if he can, it's just tough because it's like that that point guard position, no matter what conference, really. It's it's always kind of tough sneaking in there as far as getting on the All-Star team. But I feel like if he can, kind of getting that 25, maybe 24, 25 point per game range. I think he's already right around there. It's probably more like 21, 22. But if he gets 25 to 27 consistently, I think he can, and end up making the All-Star team. I think he should get the nod for that for sure.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, Ja Morant, it's a matter of time before he makes the All-Star game. I think you're not going to be able to keep – I seen him dunking on motherfuckers in preseason like he didn't know it wasn't the preseason. Players like that have no break. They don't understand that. So I think, for good and bad. But no, I agree. He could easily do that too. He's phenomenal. One of my favorite young players next to Luka.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be real interesting. It's gonna be a good season. Teams able to get solid off seasons. Everybody back healthy. I think it's gonna be some good basketball. It's gonna be a lot of like one team. There's a couple of teams I'm watching out for, but I feel like it's gonna kind of be crazy to see like even like a team like Miami, because I feel like the Warriors version of on the Eastern Conference is gonna be like Miami. I feel like what I'm saying, just that window is closing and like everything got to go right. You know what I mean? As far as just like for them to kind of take that next step to get into that, get to where they need to get to. But I think players they're gonna be doing their thing. I think like a lot of guys like Russ, he got something to prove. I know Harden gonna want to get himself a ring. Like I said earlier, I think Giannis gonna be just super motivated to just do what he do. And you got that Chicago team, Atlanta. Like there gonna be a couple good teams that don't end up making it to the playoffs. And it's not really be their fault.
Yes, I agree.
This is gonna be because this is gonna be not enough spots, and it's gonna be great to see that what that play-in looks like too. I think that's gonna be.
Yeah, that's gonna make it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. So. Yeah, and then the team that I think we're gonna kind of transition just to talk about the Pistons here, and the team that we both are playing in that play-in with the Pistons.
Yeah.
Are
we?
Yeah.
Or do you want to get to the top 5 pick?
Either way, it's a win-win. No, but,
right.
Yeah, no. So I agree. I mean, I'm not exactly sure what the season holds for us. I think we have a lot of great young pieces, and I could see us maybe as like a 10th seed. I think we were like last year without the number 1 pick, we were like the 13 or 14. So, could I see us winning that other 7, 8, 9 games? I could, but also I could see us being right back in the same spot. As you were saying earlier, that we're kind of beat up a little bit, and so that's a little frightening heading into the season. But yeah, so I guess let me ask you those 2 questions. What do you really want for the season, as far as go out there and try to win all the games, or just see what we have, develop the players, or what exactly, if you got to decide, how would the season play out?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want the teal jerseys back. That's what I really want. I want these back right here. This is what I need back right here. I need these back. Some way, somehow.
Gang.
You gotta make it back. They have to. So that being said, I think so. I'll be honest. Like I feel like everybody was on this like super crazy high as we should have been because we got the first overall pick. That hasn't happened in almost 50 years. So with that being said, I do feel like they're gonna be still pretty bad. We just talked about how tough the Eastern Conference is gonna be. I mean, they got to see every great team in your top 8 at least 3 or 4 times, and I can't see them beating. I mean, they might catch a couple of these teams on an off night, whatever, here and there, but it's gonna be tough. I mean, I feel like I would probably, just from competitive purposes, I like to see if they can see into that 10 spot some way, somehow. I'm all about it. Because that's still going to be a guaranteed lottery pick. And, how I'm feeling now, we got that first overall pick. We can mess around and get lucky again and get, 8 or 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll get on the top 15. We ain't going to do nothing but be better from here on out with more cap space next year. So, but I think, to give you like a solid answer, I love to see us sneak into that 10 spot, or maybe even make the, 8 spot.
Okay. Yeah, no, I second the teal jerseys. And, I would say – I would want them to go out there and try to win the games at first. Go out there with the full young squad and just try to see what we have. Put them in interesting circumstances. Put them maybe they'll push some teams late into the game, and you'll develop a little bit of tough skin or whatever the case may be throughout the years or throughout the early season, and then. Yeah, obviously you don't want to get anybody hurt or anything like those circumstances. So I wouldn't be opposed to going hard, and then if we're not in in that hunt, like you said, then shutting things down to a certain degree and trying to go secure that, because it is ultimately a business decision. And if you can shut things down, a little bit post All-Star break and go and get another, as you said, top 8, top 6 pick, and along with the cap space we're freeing up, then you're putting together a real team. And I know that I am a competitive person as well, but I also know that more than likely it's an uphill battle, and you're going to you could cost yourself an opportunity to be in the playoffs with a real squad in a year or two by trying to make a playoff, this time around.
I say
Similar to the Blake Griffin situation when we traded for Blake Griffin, when we should have just not made the playoffs that year, and we went and traded for Blake, and we're still playing for it.
I say that it's like give it a good 60 games to give like a guy that's in it, like, about to be a free agent. Let him see what he could be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then after 60 games, if you're like, I don't know, 20-40 or 25-35, whatever that kind of looks like, all right, Cade is banged up. I do want Cade to win the Rookie of the Year, so I'm not even going to work. Cade is winning the Rookie of the Year. I'm calling that now. That needs to happen. That is going to happen, I think, personally. But I feel like if it kind of comes to that point where it's like, playoffs probably not really be the thing. Some guys on the team kind of banged up. Let the younger guys, like, play the younger guys more. Throw Saban Lee in there more. Throw guards in there. You know what I'm saying? Just throw a lot of them younger guys in there. Let them get better. And, yeah, kind of like just make another good draft pick, get a little active in the draft, trade for some more picks or something like that. Come into the off season. I haven't looked at who's going to be a free agent next year quite yet, but just try to grab a couple other people and then really make a push 2023 season.
Agreed. I like where we're headed. I think we got the right coach. I think we drafted the right player with Cade. I think this is a good tryout for Killian Hayes. I know you're a little higher on him than I am, but I think he has to. He can't go out there and get hurt again like last year. You need to put together like a real season, solid, like you said, 60. You got to play most of this year. We got to see what you're doing, and because we just got rid of our top 12 pick last year in Sadeku, and we traded him. He just got picked up by the Lakers, so it's
he got waived by the Nets.
So it's a fast roll to the bottom here and so I would say he's kind of maybe I guarantee they're reviewing him right now already. He's kind of already a little bit on the hot seat. But with that being said, I know we were high on both of them all summer, and it is a kind of like 2 top 5 picks coming in this year for us. But I want to see what he can do, and then obviously Sadiq Bey, come back, riding high on him. Isaiah Stewart. So we got a couple of the pieces that we know are going to be consistent because they've already proven that they're pretty consistent. So,
then even too with Killian, Cade can play point guard. You can put Saban at the 2. You can find another 3 and just have Jeremy Grant, Isaiah Stewart. So he's a lot more easily dispensable. For sure. He ain't. They got Cade, they got Saban Lee, they got Corey Joseph. So they kind of give them the keys and saying, all right, we drafted you obviously, so we're gonna give you a shot. But he only played 25 games last year, so yeah, he got to give us at least 70 at least.
And I would say they're proving that they're kind of a little more cutthroat. We're not going to wait till Sadiq Bey till we owe him the real part of money on his contract. We're getting rid of his ass right now. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of him. And so they're proving that they're in it to win. They're gonna ship you out if you're not coming to play, and they're gonna cut their losses, and it is what it is. And I do kind of respect that. It is tough nose, but if we're in, if we're looking at the number 4 team in the East in a couple of years, I'm not gonna have no tears shed on my end. So.
I'd rather them offload him and I think he's gonna be fine. I think he's gonna be next Tony Parker, bigger version of Tony Parker. That's what I feel. I will say those 26 games, he did average 8 assists a game, so he can definitely pass that rock. I'm also looking if he don't do that well at the start of this year, he was a starter, so we can get a little more for him. I don't want them to keep him around and kind of bury him on the bench. So yeah. We'll see though. It's gonna be a good little season.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, and I know we want to do some podcast live from the LCA here, bar soon. We just looked at some tickets.
We
definitely gonna hit some games up. I'm excited for it. NBA is around the corner. I know both of us are big football guys, but there's something special about basketball, and then they're doing it right. Having games on all the time. It's just always a story narrative to follow, and it's just done right. And it's going to be a lot of interesting things coming up. A lot of whether the Lakers can kind of put it together, or whether the Nets can do that. Whether Giannis can repeat. There's a lot of storylines going on here, and interesting. And the whole COVID situation for all these players not getting the shots and pour from the millions.
Yeah.
So I think we have a lot of, we're in uncharted territories here, but ultimately it's a great season. Who would have thought the NBA would have a bigger issue with it than NFL did? But it's just kind of interesting. But I don't know if you have any more thing to say.
That's all I got, man. I'm just looking forward to a good hoop season coming up.
Yes, sir. It's around the corner. So appreciate everybody for tuning back in. Podcast drops tomorrow. Spotify drops tomorrow. Peace out.
See you till next time.